something. That's his name. That's on the sign.
Welcome to
We're live.
Chooch's Chalice.
Alright, so we're live.
Live and in color.
Chooch's Chalice.
Color.
Chooch's Chalice.
Okay, so.
Just pull up my feed here.
It's in my feed. Hola, Wraith Nation.
What's up? What's up?
Volume down. Here we go. So now we've got some people joining in here.
Of course, we're all a little small.
Oh, we got 120, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's going up quick. Hey
What's up,
guys.
It's a very rainy day here in Tennessee.
Man, it is. It's cool. It feels great.
Yeah.
But we're sitting here in this most awesome location that we're in now that we can't reveal.
Yes.
At least not this one.
Not this one, but we may reveal. Well, no, we will reveal
This one at some point.
this one at some point.
Depends on how hard you beg.
We will reveal a lot of other things too.
But today we got a treat for you guys.
We all have bacon biscuits for you.
Bacon biscuits.
Wish I had a chicken biscuit.
Well, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Pancakes, Chick-fil-A.
Stacked pancake.
I'm not a sponsor.
That was like a plan.
All right, so we've got about 300 people in here right now, and it's still growing.
Good morning, Wendy.
Gore, Oklahoma.
Doogie McDougal's watching.
Yeah.
Is Doogie McDougal watching?
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
Guys, he always stirs stuff. I'll tell you what.
So jealous.
Good morning, Oklahoma. What's up,
Yeah.
Justin?
Look there.
Got
Listen.
Sumner County's finest.
Yes,
Yeah.
just in. See, Florida's in the house.
North Carolina's in the house.
Idaho.
I got spinning wheel in the house.
We got-
Spinning
Yeah.
wheel. That's because you're on that other network that doesn't have any
There
reception.
you go.
What's up, Jim? Florida, greetings.
All right, so we're up
Nevada.
over 400 people now.
Ohio.
So Cincinnati, yep, there we go.
All kinds of people in here.
Look at this.
We just wanted to kind of talk to you guys for a second today. Obviously, we got the brand new episode of Haunted Live tomorrow night, and we're actually at the end of this going to reveal the location because this is a very special place for us. This is a place that we tried to get into for years and years. It'll be the first time it's ever been televised, and for me, it's probably the scariest place that I've ever been to.
You know, it's got such a rich history, and this place has been special to me for years. I can remember the first time that I ever spent the night in the location was about 24, 25 years ago. And at that point in time, you know, everybody talked about all the occurrences there, all the hauntings, all the paranormal activity, and I had never experienced anything there until that night. But on that particular occasion, I went there, was friends with the curator, and we were looking through the house, and he was telling us the stories, and we were looking at this old doll house up on the landing up to upstairs. And I made a comment about the dolls, about how ugly they were. And when I made that comment, there was a secretary back behind us that the curator had said that the spirits would always open it up and they would take the Bible out and lay it on the bed at night. But as soon as I made that comment about the dolls, that curio cabinet opened up all the way to the door. Now we tried to close it and jump up and down and move to get it to do it again. We never could get it to do it again. And it was just one of those things where it's like, wow, that just really happened.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not either. But it was when we left. As we were driving around the front of the building, the curator went back to the house behind it where he lived, and as we drove around the front of the building, we saw lights inside. And my friend and I, he looked at me and he said, "What is that in there?" And I said, "We have lights on in the downstairs." He said, "Well, there's no electricity there." So we got out of the car and started to walk up to the window to look in, and there was a candle burning on the mantle.
See, that's what's so crazy, man. This place goes, I mean, way back in my wheelhouse. Because me and my buddies back in the day, that was like our thing on the weekends to go drive by this place and see what was going on and see if you could see anything. And we all went out there one night and we seen this thing in the window. It was like a candle burning, and it would switch from upstairs to downstairs within a matter of seconds. And I had the privilege, my dad and I and another guy, we were contractors here in town. We worked on a lot of historical homes here, and actually had the privilege to work on this place. And one time I wasn't with them, but my dad and Mr. Copeland, was actually out there. He was putting in a transit window, and he actually seen the lady go from one room to another in the blue dress. And Copeland is freaked out over ghosts.
Yes.
So I mean, he just kind of lost it. And of course, the story got back to me, and of course, the one day I wasn't there, it went on. But yeah, this place is special. I think.
Did you
to
ever
all
get
of
run
us.
off from there?
I did.
I got run off.
That will get into a story that they probably wouldn't let me back out there again.
Until our adult days. I mean, back in the day, man, we were teens. We used to go out there, and it's just one of those places. You hear about it from the time you're a kid all up on up, that it was, renownedly haunted.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd all try to go out there on the weekends at night late and try to catch a peek, and then the curator would run us off.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about it, that place brings on a whole different, just
Oh, it feels
or at night,
ridiculous at night.
You go up there and it's just like this creepy. You're just like, oh, something bad's happening.
Well, I mean, for me, like, the first time I ever went to that place, this was before I was ever really believed in ghosts. I was like 8 years old on a school field trip, going to a place like this. And, I'd heard stories from my family for years. I mean, I would hear stories from other kids at school about it.
8 years exactly.
I mean, little kid, but even going in there sometimes, I've been in there since, and it's just, I don't feel uneasy in a lot of places. Old South Pittsburgh, 3rd floor makes me feel uneasy. But other than that, this place, like, all throughout the whole place, I just feel on edge. Like I'm being watched.
Well, the caretakers, just the stories that they
Oh my
tell,
gosh,
man,
yeah.
and what they've been through. Huh?
No. What stands out to me about this place, I mean, all that stuff is very cool, all the haunted stuff. This is, for me, the first place that all of us were in doing our thing at one time, and that's Chasing included. So
Yeah.
I think it was the only place that had all 6 of us at one time. So
It really was. It's funny because, talking about all these stories, and I was telling you that 20-some-odd, 23, 24, 25 years ago when I went in there, at that point in time, cue the sirens. I was working at the sheriff's department. And so all the guys at the sheriff's department would talk about this place, and even the curator, he worked for the sheriff's department. And they all had stories, and law enforcement had stories about the place.
Me and this guy,
Yeah.
we were upstairs and we heard the disembodied
Yeah, I
voice.
remember that.
Because Brandon and I looked at each other and was like, is that a woman? There was no woman with us, unless Chasey Ray through his voice. But it was very creepy, and some of the stuff that we experienced there is just, I don't know, you just can't really put it into
Well,
words.
they wouldn't even let us in this place for years. I mean, it took a lot of talking, and we had to gain some respect from the community first to even get in here. Because it's such like Porter was saying, it's so rich in history. A lot of valuable things in there. It goes back, what is it, the 1700s?
It was construction on the actual home started in 1798, finished in 1802, and at that point it was a Revolutionary War land grant. But just because it was a land grant doesn't mean that you come in and the property is yours. They had to battle Native Americans here in the area. I mean, the buffalo herds were huge in here, and even some of the people that were connected to the house were scalped by Indians. So they built it, and the amazing thing about the structure, all the places we've been to, I don't think we've been to any that have this type of stone. The stone was actually mined from the property, and the walls are 22-inch thick, solid crab orchard stone, or it's amazing how it's built and how it stood for all those years.
They
And
still have all the ties going through it.
oh man, and all the energy that's absorbed in there.
Yeah, well, that stone, in theory and historically, when we investigate a place like that are built with limestone or, this type of stone, it seems to absorb that energy, and for whatever reason, whether it be residual or, holds some sort of intelligence, it kind of kicks up the activity.
And not only that, but it sits right beside the river.
The creek running through the river.
So
And
you got moving water, you've got stone. It's all limestone around here. So it's one of those things that it's like a big generator.
it is.
Of paranormal activity.
It's so connected to the land because it's built from the land. And I think one of the parts that amazes me too is that when you go back through history and you look at the diary of the children that stayed in the home, even the children spoke of the home being haunted back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
I mean,
This place is the creme de la creme, guys. That's why we wanted to a day early, kind of fill you in a little bit about this place and how excited but fearful.
Yeah, very
This one cool thing about this that you may want to hear is out of all the places I've investigated through my career of paranormal investigation, this is the only place that I lasted less than 5 minutes in by myself. I refused to stay in there just because of the heavy feeling that's just in the house. As soon as you walk in, you just feel eyes watching you, and there's a feeling of dread there.
I remember going. Yeah, he come running out, and of course, that's me. I'm the stupid guy. I'm like, I'm going in. I go in and get set up, and I remember because he said it was something about the stairway. I was like, well, I'm going up this stairway. Well, I start going up there towards that clock, and I'm looking, and you just kind of hear this low. That was like gut check time. I was like, okay, there's one or two things that's going to happen. I said, I'm going to suck this up, and I'm going to go on up these stairs. I said, or I'm fixing to totally, what I say all the time, I'm going to get eaten by a demon. But I sucked it up. I went upstairs, and apparently whatever it was just trying to keep me downstairs. But it just kind of leveled off. It was that one growl, and then there it
See,
was.
for me, it wasn't anything that I heard or I saw. It's a feeling, and that's very different for me because I'm not a feel kind of guy. I usually go by what I see or what I hear. I've been in the tunnels of the old Essex County in New Jersey sanatorium before they tore it down by myself, no flashlight. Flashlight went out. And yeah, that was startling. We've been to some of the most haunted locations all around the country, prisons, asylums, forts. And, I've never had a feeling like this in my life to where I felt that dread or just, I got to get out of here, almost panic attack type feeling just from walking up the stairs. So, for me, it's exciting to get to go back to this place for the second time to investigate, but it's also very unnerving.
Yeah. Well, it's another cool thing about this location is that it's one of those destination places where people go to experience history, where people go to get married, where people have gatherings at, where people go to take family pictures. And out of all of those events, there's so many records and so much documentation and so much evidence that even non-investigators have captured. Apparitions in the windows, apparitions in the outside on the pond. The curators have had stuff happen to them. People who've been there just to experience the history have had physical interaction. So I mean, it's very active. So hopefully it'll cooperate with us, and we'll get to share that all with you as it happens on Haunted Live.
Well, that one picture that come from someone was like, the detail was nuts. Seeing the earring and the glass.
Yeah, I still have my theory on who that is because there was a very prominent lady in this town, and Cred Font was her baby.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
So sorry.
Almost did that a few times.
You chose to disclose it.
So we're going to Craig Font.
Yes.
I didn't mess up.
We're going to be Craig
So much for the climax. Couldn't hold it.
So yeah,
it was part of the story.
yeah. So like,
should have like.
we didn't have a beat button.
Shoot up, chop it. We don't have a 7-second delay on this. Sorry.
So yeah, so like you just heard, we're going to one of our Holy Grail locations. We're going to Craig Font Mansion here in Tennessee.
Just roll it out.
Roll out a little bit of history real quick on it. Construction was started in 1798. It was finished in 1802. It was the home of General James Winchester, who served under Washington in the Revolutionary War, and he actually had shipbuilders come over to build this home. So it's seen a lot. It's connected to some of the most prominent people with our country, and it was one of those. It was part of westward expansion. It was the largest mansion really in the
Wild West back then.
It was the Wild
built.
West.
Tennessee was the Wild West.
Oops, Doogie.
Yeah. I know, Billy. I know.
But this
Too much coffee.
Yes, it was.
This could have is it bad mojo or whatever before even going in tomorrow with the stuff that's been happening around it.
Yeah.
Because I think we can talk about this, right?
We can't just keep it, kind of anesthetized.
Let's see how we can wrap this.
Well, the thing is that historically speaking, even with the curators and those involved, they've all had stuff happen. But we had stuff happen the day that we did our preliminary filming.
Yes.
Just prepping for the things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We can speak.
Yeah,
we talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Now, who was it that actually on the way there got in a car accident?
One of our production bands.
Production band got in a car accident on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And what was, can we say the gentleman's name?
One of our interviewees,
Interviewees.
and right before he was supposed to be interviewed, had a heart attack.
It was while they were doing my interviews, actually. We had the ambulance
He had a
come
heart
up.
attack.
He is doing fine now.
Yes.
Thank the Lord. But had a heart attack while we were filming interviews for the history package for this place. And later on, after I found out that all of my interviews mysteriously just got deleted somehow.
So obviously the Spirit's there.
And that's never happened in history of Ghost Asylum,
Yeah.
Haunted Towns, or anything. Nothing ever got deleted or erased.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is the only time that's ever happened.
They had to do my interviews off the property just to get the interviews.
Yeah.
So it was
It's so crazy. It's so weird that stuff like that happens because I was actually out there just like a month or so ago for a wedding when my buddies got married out there, and it was so weird. As soon as I left, I've got a newer truck, you know, and all of a sudden as I'm pulling out, it starts making this weird ding, ding, and I'm looking, and my brake lights go out, like just totally go out, and I'm like, and I look at my wife and I'm like, all right, is this the old Craig Font, you know,
The old
messing
Craig
with me?
Font.
The old Craig Font messing with me?
Dude, I forgot about this. What about the piece of evidence that you captured there just during the day with full spectrum camera?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Years ago, like 10 years
You
ago.
know, I was walking around, got the chance to walk around out there, and I was taking some full spectrum photos, and caught. It looks like a man, maybe with a child or with a dog
Maybe
or
a
something,
puppy.
because he's right behind that willow tree, you know, that's out there by the pond. And then looking in the photo, there's this little girl. I don't know what
Imagine the ring. You remember
The
that
bed
chick?
jumper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
that's
that's
literally-
pretty much what it
Yeah.
looked like. And it's, I mean, there's no way to confuse this with anything else. And the camera I was using goes in successions of 3. And I took, I don't know, 1,600 photos.
Gosh.
And this was right in one of those successions of 3. So it wasn't there, talking like, what, quarter second?
Yep.
It's not in the first one, it's in the middle one, and not in the third one.
I
It's
forgot
crazy.
about that photo. We need to get that to the production team because
Yeah.
I think that's
They
something that
have- they
everybody.
have- they
Oh, do
have.
they
Yeah,
have?
that's a good one. You know, the neat thing about that photo too is that when you look at the girl, the dress looks period, and it looks like she's got on those old black boots.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Creepy.
it's real creepy, and the way she's augmented and got her head
Yeah.
thrown back. I mean, I tried to recreate that,
Tried to
and
debunk that.
you couldn't do it. I mean, it's just it's
The
amazing.
way she was contortion,
Mhm.
contorted,
Like a
you
second
know, it's
ring.
like, it's just, I don't know. It still creeps me out.
But one of the scariest things that night, I mean, it was after the fact, which is cool because you were going through evidence a few days after, and he's like, "You got to hear this one." And it's like you were going through the whole thing of why are you still here? You know, there's a better place to go. There's
Oh, yeah.
heaven, God, and
Hate
stuff.
that.
And that EVP, there is no God.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
And it was in some dark, evilly, there is no God.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything like that before. And it's even talking about it gives you chills. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah, what's crazy was downstairs, I get the woman, I said, I don't know who's made you angry or whatever, but I get the EVP of, I said, I hope you're not mad at me, and it says, no, we love you. And I'm like, I don't know, with getting that one with no God, and then getting that one, I don't know.
I don't
if that's
trust
trying
it.
I don't know if it's trying to draw you in or what, but I don't
It's
know.
gonna be scary. I think we're gonna need to eat an extra slice of pizza before we start tomorrow.
Before we were even allowed access to the home, we had to sit down. One of the stipulations was we had to sit down with the caretaker there, great guy, and he put a Bible on the table and he started reading the scriptures.
Yeah.
And like that was one of the stipulations that we had to talk to him because all the experiences that he's had and the other caretakers there. You know, this place is. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, it is.
It's
There's people that live in the area, like here's somebody just posted on the feed here, Jeff Preston, man. He said, this location is the Everest of haunted locations in Tennessee. This show's will be off the charts. And
Yeah.
that's a true statement.
That's a very true statement.
anybody that lives around here and knows about Craig Font knows that it's haunted.
And I have to say, because me and this one, when we come back last time from Craig Font, we had the same things going on. We had these 3 knocks that kept happening. One was under my stairway, and you know, the wife said,
But you can pre this story. Every Q&A, this comes up of anything follow you home. This story happens and it always is preceded by an undisclosed location,
Yes.
a place we can't mention. This is the place.
This is the place.
If you've been
It's
to any
disclosed.
Q&A and this story, it's about Cred Farm.
And I've got this stairway that you cannot access unless you tear the stairway apart. Well, 3 knocks kept happening, and me and the wife were sitting on the couch, and those 3 knocks happened again. And she looked at me, she said, "I told you something followed you home." I was like, I don't know about that. I said, "But I'll take care of it right now." So, I kind of leaned up on the couch and asked whatever it was to please go away. Well, right beside our big screen TV, she loves candles, and she loves those woodwick candles, and she puts those big heavy metal things on top of it to put them out. Well, as soon as I asked this thing to leave, this thing shot across the room at me. As I look over at my wife, her jaw is still on the ground, and I'm wondering what's going on, because this heavy thing just shot over at me. But it was like, after I asked it to leave, it was almost like, well, fine, blam,
No.
threw it, and then I didn't experience the 3 knocks. It was just like it went back to wherever. But I think I say this for everybody. Yes, everybody tunes in on their couch looking at this, but we're going into this thing, and you don't know what could follow you home from this place, because there's things that's happened that aren't bad, but there's also things that's happened that's not the best.
Aggressive.
It's very aggressive, and we're taking a big risk going in here for attachments and also things to happen to you. So
And I was told as well that I'll be doing the isolation session in this place. And the reason I wanted to do that is to kind of try and face my fear, because, like I said, I'm genuinely frightened of this place. I wanted to save it for this one, and I've also asked that no cameramen be in the room with me, that it's just a static cam and nobody else in there. So hopefully they will listen to my wishes, and I'll be in there completely alone. And we also have a surprise experiment that we're going to try. We're not going to reveal that. You guys will tune in for that, but it's going to be cool.
We're gonna pull out all the stops.
It'll just be me and you guys watching him.
Yeah.
So if he levitates, you won't see me again.
I'll be in there by myself.
You can tell somebody else to go get him.
yeah, you just keep watching Chris levitate as we
We're at the
Go to Crystal.
And that's the thing about this place. That we've been to a lot of haunted locations that have had visual experiences, audio experiences, stuff like that. But I don't know that we've ever been anywhere that's had so much physical
Interaction.
poltergeist type
Poltergeist
activity. I mean, there's been people who are preachers that have been in there who have been grabbed by this thing. The curator has been grabbed by stuff in there, had stuff thrown at him. He's ended up bloody and injured. And it's I've seen video of stuff floating past the windows in there that they've gotten. So I mean, it's crazy.
We were last time we were talking to that gentleman, and he said, it's a big porch outside with the rocking chairs. He had a full conversation with a woman, and at the time everybody was dressed in period clothing. I don't know, it was some sort of reenactment or whatever. So she blended right in, had a full conversation, and as he turned his head and turned back, she was gone.
Well, that one, yeah, you're right. What he did is he sat there and talked to her, and they were looking out. They were having it was a benefit party, is what it was, to raise money for the location. And he sat down and talked to her, and he asked her how she was doing. She said, doing fine. She said, she was looking out at the party, and she said, it's a wonderful evening for a gathering in the garden. And he said, well, yes, it sure is. Yeah. And so they sat there and spoke back and forth, and he said, I probably need to go start cleaning things up and getting ready to close down so that people can get out of here. And he got up off the little bench, which happened to be at one point, I think, a cooling bench for those that had died. He stepped off the steps, which was about 5 steps going down to the sidewalk, and he's like, I didn't get her name. And he turned around to say, and what was your... And she was gone.
Well, that's crazy.
I mean, and that's a great story, because I don't think any of us have ever had a situation where we actually sat down and had a conversation with an apparition.
That's the Holy Grail experience. Well, the thing is, as rare as it is to have not only like a full body ghost, but a ghost that looks like someone, and a lot of people that see that, though they never talk to them. Like the ghost, but this one talked. It looked like a person. That's crazy.
I think we figured out the last time we were there. Whatever is there is very intelligent. Very intelligent.
Yes.
We've run into intelligent hauntings before, but this brings on a whole new.
It does
Hey,
bring the whole thing.
intelligent haunting.
You know, I see some questions and stuff going by in here, and people are talking about, you know, believing or not believing in ghosts and this kind of thing. And I tell people all the time, you know, watch. You know, if you don't believe, just watch. This show is live. There is 7 seconds between the time it happens to us and the time it shows up on your TV. So what you're seeing is what we're experiencing. And if something happens, you're going to get to see it just like it happened to us. And I always tell everybody that if you don't believe that there is some other realm out there, some other energy out there, something that can interact with us on that level, you know, you may not until it happens to you. And if you don't go out and do this stuff, or if you're not looking for it in your own home or in other places you go to, you may not have that experience. But what we hope to do here on Haunted Live on Travel Channel is to have you there as close as you can be and be part of the action and see it for yourself and know that it's live. I mean, it's 7 seconds. I mean, we can't manipulate anything like that in 7 seconds. The most we can do is beep out a scare word.
I know people say it's fast. You know, yes, it is fast, but we're live, and you're experiencing what an actual ghost hunt would be like. It's not like Hollywood. It's not where Michael Myers is going to come out and kill somebody every, you know, few minutes. You know, this is how it goes. Sometimes you get stuff, sometimes you don't. So it's just like you're on the ride with us. It's just like you'd be on your own investigation. It's not, these things aren't trick ponies like we've said before. You know, they only come out when they want to come out. But, you know, this is one of those things that if you want to have a live interaction, this is how you get it, because you have the other shows that, you know, they're edited. There's days, you know, of investigation, but this is happening in the moment. It's quick, but it's fun, and you're on the ride with us.
And if you would, like, this is going to be probably the best chance so far. Yeah. We're going to some of the most, we've picked out some of the most haunted locations because we only have that hour. Yes. So if there was any place you're going to see something happen, I would definitely tune in tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central, Travel Channel, Haunted Live. You're going to want to not miss this episode.
Definitely.
We're super stoked about it.
Please.
If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Please watch.
And be sure to follow all of us on our social media. I'm can be found at Porter TWC on social media.
Chris TWC.
Brandon TWC.
Doogie TWC.
Stephen Mike TWC.
So you know who to
That's
follow.
Mike with a C.
Yeah, that's a silent R in front of Mike.
Yeah, so just be sure to you know who to follow.
Yeah, always any information you need on us, where events we're going to be, when we're going to be on, you know, Haunted Live or any other program, go to our Facebook page, Tennessee Wraith Chasers on Facebook.
That's it.
And
All right.
Twitter.
So
And Instagram.
we'll hear from all of you Friday night, tomorrow night. We'll hear from all of you tomorrow night,
Coming up soon.
and you'll see all of us tomorrow night.
Do we want to maybe see if anybody has any last minute questions for
Yeah.
us?
Yeah, we probably should.
We shine off.
We'll
Sign
shine off.
We will shine off.
Come on, guys. Anybody got any questions about Craig Font or tomorrow's episode?
Yeah.
Or
Doogie no hiding in the showers. That just came across.
all right. There's no showers in this.
There's no showers.
Billy Sims, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
EBG.
Let's
Don
see.
Johnson in the house. What's up, brother?
To me,
No
thank you.
hiding in the shower.
There's Christopher St. Booth. What's
Yeah.
up, brother?
Hey,
Chris?
Kim, see you later. Wendy's in there. Thanks, Wendy. Who else we got here? Go with these guys. Yeah, Leanne, appreciate that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we keep it
definitely.
as real as we can keep it, man. It doesn't get any more real than what we do.
Yeah. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
for all the support, guys.
Yeah.
Definitely. We
Thanks for the
appreciate it.
support. Any questions at all, we'll try to answer them if we can. Will there ever be a 2-hour episode? You know, we don't know.
We hope so.
We would love for that to happen because it gives us more time to provide you with that evidence and see what we do on a real basis. So, but we'll just keep watching.
Yeah.
The place was started. The building was in 1700s and ended in 1800.
1798 was when construction began. 1802.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1802.
Thanks for the prayers, Megan.
Yeah. Thank you. We're
So,
gonna need them for this.
There was one that said, "How do you explain the feeling you get going into Cred Fund, like the lightheadedness?"
No, for me,
It's
it's
just-
dread. It's just, I'm afraid. I'm
Yeah.
very afraid.
Yeah,
You know, for me, it
it's chills up
changes.
my spine.
I've always had a draw to the location, so there's times when I go there and it feels like it's welcoming, like it's like you're home. Come in.
Yeah.
Other times I walk through that door and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to walk around by myself.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I have to say, it's like one of those things. Have you ever been going to like a job interview and you're very, very nervous? That's kind of what you get. But you know, it's not a job interview. This is an interview with the other side. And you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and you have that. Well, I really don't want to do this, but I got to. You know, and that's kind of the feeling I get. It's
We got a question here.
unnerving.
Do the guys that film you ever get freaked out? I can remember several times, but one.
We lost one guy. You remember the guy?
Very first episode.
Very first
Yeah, he said,
episode.
I'm not going back in.
But no, I remember Papas at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital when we heard on the door right beside him, and he almost dropped his camera and said a few expletives, and then especially when we found out nobody was behind the door. Yeah, man. Sometimes they get scared just like we do.
Definitely appreciate your prayers.
Yes, absolutely. Do
Do you believe in aliens?
I'm open.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Do you guys continue to investigate the location after the show is done? It just depends.
Yeah.
You know, it can happen. It just depends on what's going on. If we're completely zapped and wore out, because that happens.
Are you guys going out of the country to hunt ghosts? I would love to go.
No, that's my like.
Hopefully next season. fingers
Haunted
crossed.
Live worldwide.
Let's see.
More special guests, you never know. Haunted towns. I think you should do a haunted towns live. You know, like tune in for 4 days.
Yeah.
Just post it on your couch, get some popcorn, some Twinkies or something, and watch.
Set up the camera.
Do you guys go over to different states? Yes, we do. I mean, especially for haunted towns. Ghost Asylum, went to Hawaii.
Oh, yes.
I mean, yeah. Anytime we get a chance for this particular one, we're staying, pretty close within the Tennessee, Kentucky area, just because of the South is so rich in haunted locations. Civil War and all different types of historical events that I believe cause a lot of these hauntings. So just for now, but yeah, we're going to be spreading out soon.
And the thing about it, the state of Tennessee, I mean, it's just like any other state. They've got multiple haunted locations, and a lot of these locations have never been hit or televised. And that's one thing that we like to do. We've done that ever since Ghost Asylum. We went to all these locations that a lot of people never hit. Yeah, some of them were ones we were like, oh man, we should have, thought about this again before we come here. But hey, they ended up being great, and we like to get new places on, out on the TV so you can experience them along with us. I mean, new places are always cool to come by.
I'd also like to say this is not Craig Font that we're in right now.
Right.
It's we want to save that for tomorrow night. I think that was one of the questions here.
Right.
No, we're not at Craig Font right now.
No.
Somebody also asked if tornado damage affected it, but Craig Font was not damaged by the tornado. It's been there all those years and has not been damaged. Now, at one point in time, it did lay in a disrepair state because it was used as a barn, but it's been brought back from the dead.
Yeah. So, wondering, someone asked about Theo being there. Theodore.
I'm sure he'll be watching
We
somewhere.
can bring him. He might sit with
He'll
me and
watch.
keep a keen eye on the
Yeah.
water.
We'll watch from somewhere.
Oh,
Um,
Extra set of plastic eyes never hurts.
what was the other one I saw here? I saw
You
something
bring
about
Theo
Texas.
into Craig Font, he's liable to get possessed.
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
will not be coming
Have
back.
you seen Chucky?
I got in trouble for bringing him home.
He'll become
The
Chucky.
Warren, it'll be in the Warren museum
Museum.
in a box.
Somebody said, have we ever had anything follow us home other than Chris's car ghost?
So they've obviously been to an event.
Obviously.
I've told that story like 8,000 times.
And Craig Font is not currently occupied by someone living there. It is owned by the state, but they do have caretakers that live out back to
Yes.
watch the place, 24-hour surveillance. So
He
And
is
they
a
have
state trooper.
great, they have great tours.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, amazing tours.
They will offer you a tour of the history and the whole place.
Oh,
So
yeah, the
watch
history's
it
rich.
Friday, and then if you want to experience it, go take the tour.
Yeah.
Go to Craig Font, look it up, book your tour, go there. I mean, hang out all day. The place is beautiful.
Yeah, now, it's
The place
closed
is
for
beautiful.
tours in the winter,
Yeah.
but come spring, if you're traveling through Tennessee, you need to stop by Craig Font, take that tour. You'll learn so much history. I mean, the owners of the ones that built it, they're buried out back in the family plot. The building out back is actually on the site where General Winchester lived in a cabin while they were building Craig Font. So there's amazing history there. So just amazing.
Here's one that come through that we get. It says, how come all ghosts are from the 1800s and you never get hauntings or twerking?
Twerking.
No, I've never seen a ghost working, I think.
You know, they're not all from the 1800s. A lot of people get that they get that kind of confused because a lot of places we're doing are historical places, or that's what they put out. But we've caught stuff from what sounds like from today's people. We've seen apparitions of doctors from today's times, in the hospitals and things like that. So it's not always people from the 1800s.
Right.
You just run into a lot of Civil War soldiers, that kind of thing from that era for some reason.
I've had a conversation recently with someone who has really done some digging into that, and there's different trains of thought on it and about energy and how it dissipates over time. And that people ask me, why don't we have interactions with cavemen or with more Native Americans? And I think that throughout the time, as far as the spirit world goes, these energies have a half-life or a shelf life where that energy dissipates over time and they're not as active. So what you're having here is more activities from some of the more recent energies. Now, having said that, they have said that what the opinions are is that the stronger energies, like the Native Americans that are more connected to the ground and more rooted into our environment, those energies appear larger and stronger and have more duration and stay around longer because of their connection. So that's some of the stuff that I've heard and asking people those questions that have studied it. It's all opinion, but it sounds like a good.
We've heard people of people that's been like recently deceased.
Mm-hmm.
We get those all the time. Hey, I'm seeing my mom, or I'm seeing my cousin, or I mean, it's not always reverted back to somebody from the 1800s. It's just a lot of times the places we're in, that's the era that we're investigating. That's the houses, and a lot of times there hasn't been any recent deaths there, and that's kind of what it reverts back to. That's the energy that's stuck in these locations, and that seems to be what we run up on.
Well, Mike, you talked about it one time, like, why don't we see apparitions with the smartphones and stuff, I mean, maybe it takes time for maybe the...
Did you hear that?
Yeah, something knocked over.
Something knocked over there.
I think
Go ahead, Brandon. Sorry about that.
maybe it's confirming that I'm right. But, maybe it takes time for maybe the residual energy to appear. I don't know, kind of like a capacitor effect, it takes a number of years for it to come out.
We got a shout out to Mr. LaFon. The
LaFons!
We may be using the LaFon's digital recorder tomorrow night.
What's up, brother?
So, I guess, how long have we been on now? For a while?
Rob and Terry,
a little
what's up,
bit,
my man?
What's up, Robin?
Yeah, we've been on 37 minutes, so we probably need to shut this one off before we tell too much.
What about Bobby Mackey's? We're going there next month.
Yeah, we'll be there on a Thursday.
Ohio State Reformatory, been there,
Been there.
awesome.
Yep.
Cool place.
All right, guys.
Thank you for everybody who tuned in from work. We see a lot of that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
hope you don't get in trouble with a boss.
This is the best lunch break
So
ever.
just remember, tune in tomorrow night, Travel Channel, 10/9 Central. If you want to interact with us, get on their Facebook page, Twitter, #HauntedLive, and your feeds will come up to our nerve center, and we'll stay on top of things. Mikey's going to keep his eye in the sky on
That's
us, and he's going to keep up with all you guys sending your stuff in. If anything crazy happens,
Let us know. #HauntedLive everywhere.
And I don't want to, stress. I can't stress this enough. Tune in tomorrow night. This is going to be an amazing episode. We're super excited about this one and terrified. So
We want to share this one for years.
do not miss it.
See you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.